Hi everyone, Pam here from Creative Homescaping. In today's video, I am going to be participating in a holiday challenge that has been issued by Amateur Decorating Like a Pro. I'll put a link to her channel down below, as well as a link to the playlist when it's available. Now, she asked us to do a holiday DIY, haul, or home tour for our challenge, and she's actually having three separate video opportunities for this. So if you missed this first one and you want to participate, she has two more coming up. So I will put a link to the video also where she mentions those challenges. So for this video, I thought I would do a DIY. And I have been trying to do a lot of these challenges without spending any money. So for this challenge, I am going to do this DIY with things I had on hand. So stay tuned. The first thing you're going to want to do is get a square piece of paper. Now, I took this scrapbooking paper, which is 12 by 12, and I cut it into 4 squares. That way you will get 4 ornaments. You can make these bigger or smaller. You also don't need to use scrapbook paper. In fact, it probably is easier if you get a little bit thinner paper. This is pretty stiff scrapbook paper, and it makes it a little more difficult to fold. Since I've made these before, I can do it, but if you're starting out, you may want to start with a square of thin paper. So let's get going on actually making your Christmas ornament. So you're going to want to lay the paper with the right side or the pattern side down, because that needs to be on the outside when you're done. And then you're going to lay the paper in a diamond shape and take one of the points and match it up with the opposite point. This is pretty important, this step, to get everything very square in your ornament. The ornament's not going to be square, but it's so that everything's aligned properly when you're doing all your folding. Okay, make sure the middle is pretty well folded. You can crease it with your fingernail or a gift card or credit card if you want. Then you're going to open it up, turn it the opposite direction, turn it 90 degrees, and then you're going to do the same thing again. Now you should have a paper that is somewhat pyramid shaped. I don't know if you can see that. What you want to do is hold it now square, and you see how these sides are starting to indent? You're going to actually want to indent those sides. So what I do is I put my ring finger at the edge of this one, and I grab, see the edge of the flat side, and I grab one of the ridges with my middle and index finger, and then the other ridge with my thumb on one side, and then I do the same thing on the other side. I grab with 2 fingers initially so that I can use my index fingers to poke those sides in. And then you'll end up with this triangular shape. It will have 2 sides to it with those sides you just pushed in folded into the middle. And this is what it should look like at the bottom. Okay. Now you're going to lay it down so that you have a triangle shape with the base of the triangle facing you. Then you're going to take one of the points of the triangle that is loose and fold it up to the apex of the triangle, which is the top point of the triangle. And you're going to create a little mini triangle here. Can you see that? And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. You can see here why it's important that you get everything aligned on those initial folds so that they'll meet up properly at the top. Then you're going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Now you have a square, and one of the ends of the square you'll have the flaps of the triangle up at the top. You want to keep that at the top when you're working on it. The other end is not loose. You'll want to keep that at the bottom. But before you do that, you're going to want to fold in these edges here, I'm going to fold this edge in so that the point meets the center line of the square. I'm going to do that all around. I'm going to flip it over, do the other side. This is where the stiff paper makes it a little difficult. Okay, so now you have these little flaps that are sticking up here. Okay, this next part is probably the trickiest part to do with the thick paper. So what you're going to do, and I'm holding it up so you can see, those loose flaps at the top, you're going to bend them down over these little triangular flaps you just created. So you're going to take one and push it against that triangular flap, and then you're going to wrap it around the side, like that. Now, here comes the tricky part. That part wasn't so bad. In that triangular flap, there is a little opening. You're going to take this little point of the flap you just folded and stick it into that opening, like so. But then you have to curve it around while you push down on this flap and push on this so that it fits inside that opening, like so. That's what's going to hold your ornament together. So now you're going to do that on all of the edges. I hope you can see this. So I'm taking that loose flap at the top, I'm pushing it against that triangular flap and wrapping it around the side. And then I am going to push it into that opening like I showed you. And then I'm going to do the other side. I have made hundreds of these over the years, so if you have difficulty doing it, trust me, I had difficulty doing it when I first started as well. Okay, so when you've got them all folded in, you'll have something like this. Here's where the folded part is that got stuck into those flaps. Now, what you want to do is, see the shape of this? It has 6 sides to it and 2 points on the length of the long axis. One of the ends is closed, but one of them has a little opening here. Now, I'll show you this as I actually do it, but what you're going to want to do is where the flaps are folded in, you're going to want to grab the edges around that and then use your index fingers to poke in a little bit so you can pull this apart. And then what you're going to do is actually blow into this hole. And I'll show you how that's done. Again, this part's a little difficult with the thicker scrapbook paper, but I have some tricks on what you can do if you can't get it all the way expanded. Okay, so now I am going to blow up my balloon or ornament. There is the opening. So that puffed up pretty well. Now, if you want to push the edges out even further, depending on the size of your opening, you can stick a pencil or a skewer in there. What I like to use though, if you have it, is a very skinny crochet hook, and then you can stick it into the hole here. Sorry, you stick it into the hole here and then use it to pop the edges out a little bit more. As you can see, I've done it on this one. I've popped out the top on it a little bit. Okay, now that we have our ornament blown up, you'll see the little hole here. And you could use it like this and just put a bunch of them in a bowl, and that would look pretty. But if you want to use them as actual ornaments on your tree, you can do a few things. You can use twine, you can use ribbon, you can tape it onto the top, you can hot glue it into the top. But I actually have a ribbon that's about 1/4 of an inch wide, and I just made a knot in it, and it can actually go into the hole and stay there. So I'm going to show you how to make the loop. Anyway, so you put the ribbon over your index finger like so, and then you wrap the ribbon around over the top of the one that's already on top of your finger, and then tuck those ends in through the place where your finger was, and then you just pull. And you can scoot the knot down. This is the knot, the kind of knot I made. So it makes a pretty good size knot. And then, because these are so lightweight, they won't weigh down the ornament. You can just shove this knot into that hole. Of course, this one is being difficult. You can just shove that knot into the hole like so, and then your ornament will hang. And I'll show you what it looks like from a better angle now that we're all done with the instruction part. So this is a good craft that you can also do with your kids. I used to do this with my mother. One year when my father was on a temporary job assignment, we were living in New York, and we didn't have a lot of our belongings with us, our Christmas ornaments and that sort of thing. So we made a bunch of these to put on our Christmas tree that year. So it's really pretty quick and easy to do. I showed you my putting it together in real time. I didn't speed anything up. And if you have animals, these are great because they don't break. So I hope you really enjoyed this DIY. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about my DIY. Do you think you'll try this either yourself or with your kids if you have them? And if you like this video, I hope you'll consider giving me a thumbs up. It lets me know that you appreciated what I had to offer. And if you're new to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I post several videos a week on how to creatively manage and decorate your home, including DIYs like this one, as well as lots of seasonal decorating. So I hope you'll come back again. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all of my subscribers for continuing to support me, and I look forward to seeing all of you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.